skeptical professor named Parkins plans a seaside holiday for leisure and academic pursuits. In a conversation with a colleague, Parkins dismisses any belief in the supernatural. A retired colonel, Wilson, jokingly warns Parkins about ghosts, which he brushes off. Parkins arrives at a quiet coastal town and settles into a hotel near an old Templar preceptory. He decides to explore the ancient ruins out of archaeological curiosity. While walking among the ruins, Parkins notices something half buried in the sand. He digs it out and finds an old, peculiar whistle, seemingly made of bone or ivory. There is an inscription on the whistle in Latin, which he cannot fully translate. He decides to take it back to his hotel room for further examination. That evening, Parkins studies the whistle under lamplight and contemplates its origin. Out of curiosity, he blows the whistle, producing a strange, unnatural sound. A strong wind suddenly shakes his hotel window, making him feel uneasy. Dismissing his nerves, he prepares for bed but has difficulty falling asleep. Parkins drifts into a troubled sleep, only to find himself in a strange, dreamlike landscape. He sees a dark, distant figure moving toward him, growing closer each time he looks away. The figure seems to chase him, but he is unable to move or call for help. Parkins wakes up in a cold sweat, terrified but unsure if it was just a nightmare. The next morning, Parkins takes a walk along the shore to clear his mind. He notices a solitary figure in the distance but thinks little of it. Each time he glances away and looks back, the figure appears to be significantly closer. A creeping dread fills him, but he rationalizes that it must be a trick of the light. Later, Colonel Wilson casually mentions that someone had seen Parkins being followed. Parkins laughs it off, but a lingering sense of unease stays with him. That night, Parkins returns to his hotel room, tired but still unsettled. He notices that the extra bed in his room looks disturbed, as if someone had slept in it. The sheets are twisted and crumpled, yet no one was supposed to have used it. He convinces himself it must have been a hotel staff mistake and straightens the bedding. As he settles into bed, he feels an unnatural chill in the room. Just as he is about to drift off, he hears a faint rustling noise near the extra bed. He opens his eyes to see the bed sheets shifting, rising, and forming a human-like shape. The formless figure beneath the sheets moves toward him, as if crawling on the bed. Frozen with terror, Parkins watches as the ghostly entity gets closer. Just as it is about to reach him, he lets out a desperate scream for help. Colonel Wilson hears the scream and bursts into the room. As soon as the colonel enters, the horrific presence vanishes, leaving only the disturbed bed. Parkins is found in a state of shock, barely able to comprehend what just happened. The once skeptical professor refuses to speak about the incident, his worldview shattered. He leaves the town immediately, forever changed by the horrors he experienced. As he leaves the hotel, he briefly glances at the beach, but the eerie sense of being watched remains. On the train home, Parkins sits in silence, his once rational mind now filled with fear and doubt. Even after returning to Cambridge, Parkins finds himself unable to sleep peacefully. He suffers from recurring nightmares of the figure from the beach and the entity in his room. Any sound resembling a whistle makes his heart race in panic. He avoids speaking about Burnstow, fearing that acknowledging it will bring back the horror. His students and colleagues notice a change in him. He is no longer the confident skeptic he once was. His academic lectures on rationalism and logic now feel hollow and uncertain. The whistle, which he once considered an interesting artifact, now haunts his thoughts. Unable to bear its presence, he buries it deep in a locked drawer. Some nights he imagines hearing it whistle softly, even though he knows it's impossible. Unanswered questions and the mystery of the entity. Who or what was the figure on the beach? Was it the spirit of a Was the whistle itself cursed, or did it simply act as a signal, calling an existing presence? What would have happened if Parkins had blown the whistle a third time? Was the entity in the bed truly formless, or was it concealed beneath the sheets? Did the ghost seek revenge, companionship, or something else entirely? Parkins, once a staunch disbeliever in ghosts, now lives in quiet fear. His worldview is shattered, as he can no longer explain what happened through logic. Over time, he withdraws from his academic community, haunted by his experience. Did the entity truly leave him, or is it still watching from afar, waiting? Will someone else discover the whistle in the future, repeating the curse? The ruins of the Templar preceptory remain, waiting for the next curious visitor to unleash its hidden terror. It seems to blow, carrying an unheard whistle through the night air. What do you learn from the story? Are you believe in this story? Please give your opinion in comments below, like the video, and subscribe the channel for more sacary videos.